Hi, I'm Jim Luckett of Sailboats to Go, and this video will show you how to put together the Sailboats to Go sail kit for the Walker Bay 8 or 10 dinghy. We've got here on the ground the components of the sail kit and one component leaning against the fence here. So we've got the mast, the rudder and tiller, the dagger board, and the mast adapter. Let's begin with the dagger board. Nice and simple. The dagger board just goes into the slot there in the middle of the middle seat. And I'm sure you're wondering what those holes are for. The holes allow you to support the dagger board less than fully inserted. Just put a pencil through the hole, and there you can have it all the way up, or part way down, or a little bit more down. So if you're in shallow circumstances, you may use a pencil to support the dagger board. Now, if your boat has never been used for sailing, the dagger board, well, is probably going to be plugged up. There'll be a plate on the bottom of the boat that you've got to remove, and then there'll be materials inside the slot plugging it up, and you've got to drive those out. Something thin that will fit into the slot and a hammer to actually drive that out. This is all explained in the instructions. This is the mast adapter. This is going to go under the bow seat, up into that hole in the bow seat, and it's got the cam jam cleat here for securing the halyard. So we'll come to that in just a moment. Here we have the rudder and the mast. Let's put the mast adapter in place. We're going to take all these components off of the mast adapter. So you've got the outer sleeve, the inner sleeve, which is just a slit piece of clear tubing, and this wing bolt with the eye nut and the cam jam cleat and a spacer. So we take this outer sleeve and we're going to go under the bow seat and slip it up into the hole so that this part is up inside the hole, and this part, this middle ridge, is tight against the underside of the seat. This bottom ridge will be at the bottom. You're going to open this up all the way. Open this clamp so that you'll be able to slide this into it. So the outer sleeve goes up into the hole from underneath, and this tube goes down through it and seats in the cup that's molded into the bottom of the boat. Now I take that inner sleeve and, utilizing the split in it, get it around the tube and then shove it up inside the outer sleeve. Now we're going to tighten. Get that clamp good and tight. You really never have to take this out again, so go ahead and get it tight and leave it tight. Okay, that's good and tight now. I'm going to put this wing bolt in from the front side. Put the spacer on. And screw it into the ring nut. Now we take our sail assembly and we're going to lay it on the boat. With the mast slide sticking out right over the mast adapter. And we pick up the mast, take the end of the halyard and put it through the eye at the top of the mast after we make sure it's not wrapped around anything or tangled or whatever. We want a straight run from the cutout on the gaff to the eye in the mast. All right, down through the mast slide and down into the mast adapter. And we pull down on the halyard and up she goes. Now we're going to feed this through the cam jam cleat. You see this has a hole in the back, and the front side of it, you see this spring-loaded cam. So I pull down on the halyard and take up the slack through the cam jam cleat. And the cam holds it tight like that. We don't have to tie a knot. Now let's do the rudder. This is how the rudder arrives to you. And first thing we're going to do is swing the blade down so that the blade rests on that nut. And tighten up this knob. And then see this lever in here? Okay. When I push the lever, this comes down. And now you can see the lever really well. Like that, like that. Now it's in position to operate. So we'll mount this on the boat. You're going to get these knob clamps really tight, and when you think they're tight, come back to them 5 minutes later and see if you can give them another quarter turn or so. And maybe when you've been sailing for the first 10 minutes or so, reach over and check them again, because it's a plastic boat. That constant pressure from the clamp may compress the transom a little bit, and then what you thought was tight will suddenly be loose again. So tighten it up. Here's the tiller. I'll take the tiller bolt out. And put it through the tiller head. There's a square hole on this side of the tiller, and you've got a square shoulder on the bolt. That square shoulder goes in that square hole. Then you can choose how long you want the tiller to be, what the working length of the tiller will be. That would be full length, a little bit less, and still less. Let's set it up full length. And this bolt acts as a rest for the tiller to hold it up there like that. Okay, our rudder is deployed. Now you've got adjustments here. This is a depth collar. If I slide the depth collar down, that holds the rudder blade up more and makes your tiller higher. So you put that wherever you want it and then tighten the depth collar, and that's where it'll stay. There's also a knob here where you could lock the steering motion of the tiller, or maybe just add some friction to it if you don't want it to swing too easily. That's what that is. Okay. Now let's see how the sail sheet line is rigged. It's going to start at this hole in the head of the rudder, and we're just using that as an anchor point, nice and centered on the boat. Yours may have a clip to make it even handier to attach there. I'm just going to do a knot, and then it goes to the block on the tail end of the boom, and then forward along the boom to another block at mid boom. You might prefer to call this a pulley or block, same thing. And then from there to your hand. And so when you're sailing along, this is how you're controlling the angle of the sail. And we have completed the assembly of the Walker Bay sail kit from Sailboats to Go. It's the same procedure with the Walker Bay 8 or the Walker Bay 10. It's just that the mast adapter is a little taller. So I'm Jim Luckett at sailboatstogo.com. You can reach me at 617-645-1605, and I'm looking forward to your call.